Hi guys, thank you for joining me on another fragrance video. You may have noticed I've been away for a little while. Work commitments have kind of just got in the way, so I haven't had a chance to really make many of these videos, but I thought this weekend I would take the time to do a summer one, particularly as the weather is glorious outside. Um, Obviously we're quite a bit of way into summer already now, so I'm a bit late to the game with this one, but hope you'll enjoy it. What we're going to do is look at 10, I nearly said 5 then, 10 fragrances for the summer that are cheap. Now, there are a lot of summer videos around, lists of the best fragrance for this time of year, but generally speaking, they include ones like the three you've seen before you, and that's your Acqua di Gio Profumo, Dylan Blue from Versace, and Aqua Amara from Bulgari. I've left them off this list because they're not cheap. They're not expensive. They're not, they're the designer fragrances, but they're certainly not in the up to £30 bracket like the fragrances I'm going to show you in a second. Just a quick pointer as well. Aqua Amara often appears on quite a lot of people's cheap fragrance lists, but those tend to be in mainland Europe and in the United States. In the UK, I've never seen Aqua Amara particularly cheap. I think the cheapest I've ever seen it was about £38, and that was in TK Maxx of all places. So for me, it didn't make this list, although it is a supreme fragrance for the hot weather. So we kick things off on this list with one that's been around for quite some time. Came out back in 2006, I believe, and it's Nautica Voyage. Great freshie, has quite a sweet apple, so green apple fragrance. It's not an apple that's similar to like your Boss Bottle type of apple. It's a sort of more sweeter than that. But also weirdly with this one, we've been kind of sweet. It also has a kind of cucumbery sort of green edge to it. It's a very great fragrance for the summer. Won't offend anybody. Has surprisingly good longevity as well. I mean, you can buy this for about £15 if you shop around. I actually thought when I first tested it out, it's quite a recent purchase, that the longevity wasn't great. But then I kept getting, wafts of it every so often, so it was still there working away in the background. And it is a very, very nice fragrance. One of the key notes of this is the lotus with this, and the green leaves, which I think is what gives it that kind of weirdly sweet but green combination. So the green leaves kind of offsetting and working kind of against, but also in combination with the green apple. So definitely one to add to your collection if you haven't got it already. Okay, next up, it's Lanvin L'Homme Sport. Again, it's been around for quite some time. Came out back in 2009, and it was advertised by Rafael Nadal, the tennis player. So I thought this would be a bit more prominent, but you don't see this mentioned particularly often in lists on YouTube. But it is a very, very solid fragrance. Great for the office, great for this time of year when the weather's hot. Does have lavender and sage. Lavender I personally always associate with more sort of your Jean-Paul Gaultier, Le Mals and them sort of fragrances that are more sort of in your face nighttime fragrances. But this is a great freshie because it has a sort of a lemon and things added to it. Great daytime fragrance. Surprising compliments with this, and again, won't break the bank. If you don't know this, you've been living under a rock. This is one of the real kings of daytime fragrances, of summer fragrances. It's Versace Pour Homme. This is a really, really good office fragrance. It smells a lot like Allure Homme Sport by Chanel. Doesn't have the longevity, but it beats it in the price bracket, and that's why it's made this list. You will find some retailers who will still try and sell this for sort of high-end retail price, £40–50. But if you shop around, internet's your friend. You can pick this up for £20–25. It was created by Alberto Morealis, who's probably the king of fresh fragrances, and it's a real good one. Longevity is probably what lets it down as much as anything, but again, you still get a solid 4 or 5 hours out of it, and it's another one that's a very surprising compliment getter. Now, if you like Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Profumo, then you will absolutely love this fragrance. It's 360 red, or 360 degrees red, from Perry Ellis. Smells a hell of a lot like Acqua di Gio, but adds some little spices and little differences to it that make it a fragrance in its own right. Real great one for the summer. you know, it's a fantastic fragrance. Recent addition to my collection, but one I've certainly rocked a few times over the last few weeks where we've had this surprising heat wave in the UK, and I'll certainly be wearing it a lot more over the course of the summer. Again, you know, pick this up, 100 ml, £20 or less. In euros, that's probably €25, under $30. I think in the US you can actually buy it for under $20, and for that price, it's a steal. Next up, we have Mont Blanc Legend Spirit, a flanker to the original Legend from Mont Blanc, which is also a pretty good, cheap summer fragrance, but this beats it. Well, it's a flanker, it is very much a fragrance in its own right. Again, a great summer fragrance. Has a bit of a sort of bubblegummy edge to it as well. I think that's sort of, you know, lavender and the grapefruit in there. Been compared a lot to Invictus Aqua from Paco Rabanne. You can see the similarities, but it is a fragrance very much in its own right. Again, you can pick this up very cheap if you shop around. I bought this 50 ml bottle, I think, for £24, and that was from one of the main high-end retailers. If you go on the internet, you can probably buy it cheaper than that. Brilliant one for summer, brilliant for the office. You'll keep getting wafts of it all day, and it's fantastic. The opening is really what makes it very much like Invictus Aqua. In the dry down, it has a little bit more sort of a woody scent to it, even though it is very much a citrus aquatic fragrance. Quite a, you know, crowd pleasing fragrance, so you won't be disappointed if you add this to your collection. Maybe doesn't quite deserve the hype that some fragrance, you know, fragrance reviewers are giving it. Jeremy fragrance, but it is a very, very good fragrance. You won't be disappointed. Okay, this next one's one that doesn't get a lot of love in the fragrance community. I know Carl, the UK frag guy, does absolutely love this, but it's not talked about very much, although that could be because it's been around for quite some time. It's Youp Jump. Came out back in, I believe, 2005. It was created by a lady called Sophie Lab, or Labe, something like that. Could be French, who knows. But it's sort of a great evening fragrance, summer evening, heliotrope, tonka bean, quite sweet, very much a young person's fragrance, but I'm in my mid-30s and I'll happily wear this. I wore this in my mid-20s, and I've recently repurchased it because it brings back great summer memories, and it's quite possibly the best Youp fragrance out there at the moment. Youp obviously does get a lot of love, but this one is very much an overlooked gem. Zaro Chrome, a legend, mid-90s legend, probably splits opinion quite a bit, even though it is one of the most popular fragrances in the US. Not particularly well known in Europe. It's sold in major stores, but I don't really remember anybody else wearing it other than myself. Kind of a bit of a weird one because it's a fresh fragrance, but it has a kind of, I don't know, kind of a sort of chemically edge to it. Some people say it smells like window cleaner or kitchen cleaner. Obviously it's called chrome, so it has a metallic tint to it, but very much in the dry down, a very, very, very nice fragrance, even though it is a little odd. You won't, again, it's another one, and I keep saying it, I keep banging on saying the same damn thing, but you won't be disappointed with this. I don't think you'll be disappointed with any of the fragrances on this list. So if you don't own this already, you can pick this up for about 20 quid. Some of the major stores like your Debenhams, etc., are still selling it for quite a lot more than that. But again, where you can help it, don't buy fragrances from those other places. Go to the online retailers where you will get more bang for your buck. So Paco Rabanne, Paco by Paco Rabanne. This is a unisex fragrance. Came out back in the mid-1990s, so it's been doing the rounds for quite some time. Weirdly, it was the first fragrance I ever wore when I was a teenager. I've said in the previous video it was the first fragrance I ever owned, but in actual fact I didn't actually own it. It was my brother's and I kind of stole it. It's kind of along the same sort of lines as CK1. You know, mass market, mass appealing, unisex, freshy. You know, going to be good for summer, good for all occasion because it's never going to offend anybody, and it smells very nice. It's quite rare to find this in stores in the UK now. I bought this for €20 in a Spanish airport. Seems to be more common on mainland Europe than it is where I live in the UK, but you can still find it if you look around for it. And if you like that sort of CK1 fragrance, but you're looking for something that's a little bit different, but still in that same realm, then this is certainly one to add to your fragrance wardrobe. And last up, this is another fragrance from back in the 1990s. I'll just point out this is not the best fragrance, even though it is last on this list, because these fragrances aren't in any order whatsoever. This is Tommy from Tommy Hilfiger. This was everywhere in the 90s. Great apple-based fragrance. Really nice, real sort of compliment getter. Ladies do like this. I would actually think that it could pass as unisex. But certainly one that can be picked up for bargain basement prices. Doesn't quite have the longevity that it once had because of reformulation, but again, I'm not disappointed with this. This is probably my third bottle I've ever owned of this. Do wear it sometimes for work, but also when the sun's out. There's no reason not to rock this pretty old gem now. Probably older than some of the people that actually wear it, but there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, and that's the end of this list. Thank you for tuning in. I will be trying to do more fragrance videos in the next few weeks, so please look out for those. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel as well, please hit that button. And keep your eyes peeled for great videos in the future from myself, and obviously keep your eyes peeled for all the other great videos coming from other fragrance reviewers. But the main thing is keep your eyes peeled and your nose ready for any great fragrances that are out there. Okay, thank you.